Majo John Madden in my peaceful place in El Diamante, Mexico. I love to come back 100 yards behind the hotel, which is behind the restaurant O'Reilly where I hang out. The red building is the hotel. This is where Doña O'Reilly and her husband Miguel live. And we've been here for 3.5 weeks and have become like part of the family. They really have embraced us. My car broke down and it's going to be here for a couple weeks more. I just made a video where I made a passing reference to Walter Harris in New Orleans. And that story bears telling again. It's probably been a year or more since I told it. I was in New Orleans for 3 solid months, from December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, to March 15th, a month after Mardi Gras. There for the whole 6-week Mardi Gras season, and was going to stay longer, except my dog died, and it led to a series of events that finally I left on March 17th. I adored New Orleans, adored it. I was so happy there. One of the ways I transformed my little yappy chihuahua from a stranger danger city chihuahua into a really amazing, solid, peaceful, non-yappy little dog who loved everybody and pretty much all dogs, was with the mantra when she would go into her thing about, there's somebody dangerous out there, Dad. I think this is trouble. And I would say, who is it? Let's go see. And that's become my mantra for diversity in general. Let's go find out who these people are. Engage with them. Have an actual experience. And little Panchita pretty quickly picked up the drill that this was an exciting thing, an adventure. Let's go see. Maybe they'll pet me. So I implemented that with Walter Harris. My first or second day in New Orleans, I went to a farmer's market out way up in the Garden District, the real shishi part of New Orleans, which is a big tourist mecca with all the fabulous old houses, which mostly depressed me because they are museums to the wealthy, the power of wealth in New Orleans that oppressed little people. But it was a little farmer's market, and we got there kind of late, and I associate farmers markets with music, live music. Have a lot of good experiences with that. And in fact, I got there at the tail end of a sit-in jam session where a bunch of players were playing, 2 or 3 of whom turned out to be kind of legendary in New Orleans, and especially this one guy who was playing drums, tall, black man with a blue turban. I only heard one song really, but I was impressed with his playing and tremendously impressed with his bearing, his presence. And I wanted to get to know him. So who is it? Let's go see. I wasn't intimidated by a tall black man or the fact that he was a musician. I just was curious. So I walked him to his car, and I knew by then that in New Orleans people play with lots of different constellations. They play with different bands, different times. So I said, how can I find out where you're playing? And he said, Google my name, Walter Harris. So at that point, I didn't know that. I mean, at this point, I say that to people. Google my name, Majo John Madden, you'll find a lot of good stuff. But the guy in me who has to tease other guys when they seem like they're getting stuck up, I said, yeah.